Okay, so lesson 4.4 this morning, we're going to talk about side, 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 and side angle side. So if you were wondering what SSS stood for and SAS, we're going to talk about those two things. We're going to start with the first one. The first one is called side, side, side. And here's what it says. So we're going to be looking at triangles, and we're going to be trying to prove triangles congruent. So this is a method, one of the methods that we can use to prove triangles congruent. Here's what it says. It says if MN is congruent to QR, so notice MN and QR are both marked with one line, and NP is congruent to RS, which is marked with two lines, and then PM is congruent to SQ, then we can say that the triangles are congruent. And again, that would be side, side, side. So take a minute, go ahead and write down in your notebook there the picture. And now, one of the things that I do want to go through with you, and this was on your warm-up today, if I have a triangle, let's say triangle ABC is congruent to triangle RST, and I said to you what side would be congruent to AB based on my statement there, go ahead and type into the chat which side would be congruent to AB based on that statement. Okay, so I'm getting a very overwhelming response that AB would be congruent to RS. And if I were to say to you what angle is congruent to angle C, you can go ahead and type into the chat. Again, a lot of you put in angle T, and that would be correct. So knowing the corresponding parts is very important. The order of the letters is important. Notice the order in the example we gave, MNP, it matches up with QRS. So the sides and the angles do have to match up as you're looking at that. Okay, let's go to the second way that we can prove triangles congruent, and that's called side angle side. Here's what side angle side says. It says if two sides and the included angle of one triangle are congruent to two sides and the included angle of a second triangle, then the two triangles are congruent. So key word here in this one is included. Important to know what that means. Included means it is between the two congruent sides. So notice here as I'm saying this, side, angle, side. Same thing in the other triangle, side, angle, side. So the order is very important. It is important to know that, it is the included angle along with those two sides. If it doesn't follow that order, then we're not able to use this as a way to prove the triangle's congruent. So take a minute and write that down in your notes. Okay, now let's take a look at a few examples where we're going to actually apply this. So on these examples, you're going to be given two triangles. We're going to be determining whether or not the triangles are congruent. And if they are, we're going to say the reason they're congruent, and then we're going to write the congruency statement. So I'm going to do this first one, and then I'm going to give you a series of them, and you're going to type into the chat whether or not the triangles are congruent. So hopefully as you look at this picture here, you notice we have a pair of sides, we have another pair of sides, and then we have an angle that's also marked as being congruent. The angle is included, which means it's between the two sides. So this would be one that we could say the triangles are congruent by side angle side. Now the congruency part of it, I'm going to just start with the top triangle. I'm just going to call the order ABC for the top one. Now it's important when I write the second triangle that I match up the corresponding parts. So I know that angle A goes with angle D. So D is going to be my first letter. B, so I'm going from A to B, so I'm going to go from D to F. And then my third and remaining point then would be E. So I would say on this one, triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DFE by side angle side. Okay, let's go ahead and you try the next one on your own. So given this picture, go ahead right now, determine if the triangles are congruent. If they are congruent, state why, either side angle side or side side side, and then state your congruency statement. Okay, let's go ahead and go through this one. Again, I've seen a lot of good answers on this one. Hopefully you notice that we do have 3 pairs of sides. So this one is side, side, side. The triangles are congruent. If I start on the first triangle and say triangle ABC, ABC is going to go with RPQ. Any questions with that one? The triangle ABC congruent to RPQ, side, side, side. Okay, let's go ahead and go to another one that's a little more complex than the first two. So take a look at the picture, determine if the triangles are congruent. If they are, tell whether it's side, 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 or side angle side, and then make your congruency statement. Okay, let's go ahead and go through this one. I'm seeing a mix of answers on this one. I see a few of you that have put in side, side, side. A few of you have said not congruent, and a few of you have said side angle side. So let's talk about which is the correct answer here. So on this problem, you see we've got a pair of sides here and a pair of sides here. So we've got 2 sides. We don't know that AB and ED are the same, so we can't do side, side, side here. However, hopefully you notice here that this angle here where C is and this angle here, these are vertical angles. So therefore those would have to be the same. So this would be one that we could prove by side angle side. So we would say here, we could say triangle ABC is congruent to triangle EDC. And that would be side angle side. So again, using vertical angles is something that you're going to notice on some of these that you will have to use. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Next one, we've got triangle ACB and triangle FED. Go ahead and do what we've just done on the previous ones. Determine if the triangles are congruent. And if they are, state your congruency statement. If they're not, state that they're not. Okay, let's go ahead and go through this one. So consensus of the people that typed in here is that this is side angle side. And I want you to take a close look at this one. There's a reason I picked this particular problem. Notice we do have a pair of sides, we do have another pair of sides, and we do have a pair of angles. But the thing I want you to notice is this angle here and this angle here is not included. For it to be included, we would have had to have said angle A and angle F. Those are the included angles. So if we're going around the picture, side angle side. Notice here, if we do go this direction, it's side, side angle based on the marks that we have, and side, side angle does not work. So this is one where we would say these are not congruent. So hopefully you see the difference between included and not included. That was the purpose of this problem as we're going through that process. Okay, I'm going to do one more with you. This will be the last one we do. Again, look at the picture, determine if the triangles are congruent. If they are, tell why they are, either side, 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 or side angle side, or they're not congruent. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of good responses on this one. Hopefully you noticed on this one that both triangles share side AC. So technically I could go ahead and mark that because it's the same in both triangles. So hopefully you said on this one side, side, side. And you could then say triangle ABC is congruent to triangle CDA. Okay, so we are going to stop right there. The next slide is where we're going to pick up tomorrow. So we will start tomorrow with that next slide on proofs. So we're not actually going to do any proofs today. So